I have spent most of my life hearing about the name of Harry Potter and J.K.R., but now I must admit that it was never enough to get me on the whole hype train that are the books, movies, and the whole fandom of Harry Potter. However, after watching all the movies with my girlfriend, I came to the conclusion that it would be nice to actually add the books to my collection of read books and actually get down to it, so here are my thoughts on the first book of Harry Potter. In the book, we encounter Harry for the first time. He lives with his uncles and cousin, who dislike him a lot. However, not enough to give him to adoption or to someone else. For some reason. I mean, if you don't like someone that much, why make their lives so hard and decide to take care of them? That honestly confused me a bit. Later on, he gets a letter saying he's a wizard, and then they all go to a distant island because they're being attacked by letters. They're being sent to Harry non-stop, but he never gets to read one because of his uncle who keeps getting them all himself, just burning them. But overall, when they get to the island, Harry gets rescued by Hagrid, the keeper of Hogwarts, and Harry is introduced to the whole magic realm after that. We have Diagon Alley, we have when Harry buys his wand, where we actually learn that Harry's wand is a brother, quote-unquote, to Voldemort's wand, Voldemort being the villain in this whole thing, which connects the both of them together even more and sets Harry up to be someone who will make great things. Now, Hogwarts. The whole selection of sorting into the houses, personally, as a reader, I have a few problems with that section of the book. The sorting hat is supposed to pick you to a specific house between Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Till then, that's all fine with me. But when the whole process starts, it seems that far more people go into Gryffindor and Slytherin than in the other two houses. So that makes me wonder, are the number of people inside each of the houses equal? As I recall, the sorting ceremony is to pick people for all the four houses. So, case in point, if you send 40 people to Hogwarts each year, and they get sorted into four houses, that means we will end up with something on the lines of 10 people per house, or 280 people divided into the whole school, student-wise. Because, if I'm not mistaken, it's 7 years of learning. So, this is not set in stone. Like, when you get sorted to go to school, you do not know what sort of house you're going to end up with. So the fact that if they always send the same number of people, it's not exactly sure that the houses will have the same number of people, because the sorting ceremony only occurs at school. So it doesn't make sense. Like, there will be houses with different numbers of people. There will probably be more people in Gryffindor or in Slytherin. Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw aren't really mentioned in the first book at all. So, not only that, but can we actually trust in the sorting hat? It is stated by the sorting hat that he, or it in this case, will pick the house that you'll end up with. However, that will not be the case with Harry. Case in point, it is true that his parents were killed by someone that was in Slytherin, but it is constantly pointed to Harry that Slytherin is the worst house, no good wizard comes from there, and who killed his parents actually was from that house. So, for a child such as Harry to get all this bad feedback, would he in any world ever pick Slytherin? No. He wouldn't, so much that he begged the hat not to be put in Slytherin. And the hat, hearing his pleas, actually put him then in Gryffindor. But moving along. After all these events, we get to meet Dumbledore, Snape, Professor McGonagall, and all the other people that are in the school. We get to know how Dumbledore is the headmaster. He's an all-important wizard in the wizarding world. He is the head chef of the school, and overall, he's the best wizard of all times. Snape is all evil, Harry Potter, and he hates Harry Potter, and McGonagall is basically a grown-up version of what Hermione, which is a friend of Harry, turns out. Harry's friends in this case Ron and Hermione, they are interesting characters. They're both comical and realistic at the same time. Ron is kind of a good guy, but things really go bad for him, which kind of makes me think of, like, you guys remember Shaggy from Scooby-Doo? He kind of reminds me of that. He's just a goofy character, but he's a really nice guy at heart. Hermione basically reminds me of someone who really wants to follow the rules and prove herself, but she secretly wants to go live on adventures throughout the world. She's a very dual person, or character in this case. However, for all intents and purposes, I do think she has an interest in Ron from the very first book. I know they'll end up dating and being together at the end of the series, but I do believe she and him got interested into one another from the first book, because if you recall the episode with the troll, Ron actually managed to save the whole thing with Wingardium Leviosa. I believe that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. Which was a spell that only Hermione in class could do. Now, the fact that Ron can actually do that means that he was actually paying attention not only to the class itself, but also to Hermione. And let's be honest here. If you're saved by someone from a troll, you will be very, very grateful to that person. And feelings might actually come out of that. It's not exactly set in stone, but in my case, I do think it is there. The events that come afterwards can be basically 1, 2, 3. You have the Quidditch matches, you have the classes, you have Christmas, you have return to school from everyone, the confrontation in the dungeons, the whole thing with going to the dungeons by Harry, Hermione, and Ron, the conflict between Harry and Voldemort. Everything ends up fine. Harry goes home after winning the House Cup for Gryffindor with the help of Ron, Hermione, and Neville, which is also another very interesting character who's made really fun at, but he actually saved the day with everyone else because he got enough points to get the House Cup for Gryffindor. Now, there's two things I would like to point out in this whole thing that actually makes my head question a few things, because I don't know this. Dumbledore is all-knowing. Why is he all-knowing? How come it seems that he knows everything that's going to happen and just lets it play out in the sense that it will all be fine? So it makes me wonder, does he actually know beforehand that everything is going to be fine? Does he have some sort of magical window to events that are going to happen in the future? Does that exist? And the second thing that actually makes me wonder is Snape. From what I understood, Snape hates Harry because he was bullied by Harry's father. But he is constantly trying to save Harry while giving him a hard time. So, like, I don't know if you guys know this term, but do you know tsundere from Japanese terms? It's a sort of character that does good things, but always has a bad face or character. Like, if I were to point out, Snape is sort of a tsundere to Harry in particular. Like, you saved someone over and over and over again, and you help them, but you are always constantly giving them a bad time. I guess these are my points about the book. Do you agree, disagree, would like to add anything? Please leave a comment down below and have a good day.